I have to get one right. Hello, and welcome to Walk the Talk Show with Waylon Lewis, coming to you live from Boulder, Colorado. I'm honored to be here today with Dr. John Douillard, expert on Ayurveda, which is the science of life and health from India. It's very ancient, but also backed up by a lot of modern science. So today we're here to talk about how to get to sleep, which a lot of people, not myself, but a lot of people struggle with insomnia or stress, and they can't sleep. What does Ayurveda have to say about that?
I think there's a handful of reasons why people can't sleep, but the major one is that people actually are exhausted. What we don't realize is that we need energy to go to sleep. We need energy to be calm. We need energy to have a stable mood. And because most of us are running around 90 miles an hour, exhausting ourselves, doing way more than we probably should, that we are deeply exhausted. We don't have that energy reserve to sedate ourselves at night. So because we're and without having that ability to sedate ourselves, we stay wired for sound at night. We become sort of wired and tired. And we think that if we just take a sedative, it's going to help us, but you're just sedating, a system that is already exhausted. So we need to give the body the energy it needs so it can calm itself down.
So the conventional ways people maybe treat sleeplessness is like melatonin or whatever else Rachel was just mentioning, or drugs. So that's not recommended?
Well, it's based on the concept of just putting out the symptoms, right? Putting out the fire.
I see.
You can't sleep, so we're going to sedate you to make you sleep. The question that Ayurveda would ask is, why can't you sleep? Oh, maybe because you're exhausted, you don't have enough energy to make your own ability to sedate yourself and sedate yourself into sleep. So what Ayurveda would give is rejuvenatives, herbs to support the ability to calm yourself down. One of the major reasons we know that the cause of that sleep is because of excess cortisol, excess stress-fighting hormones. So that's a stress-fighting hormone, and it overstimulates you and depletes you. So the idea is to give you the energy that you need to be calm by supporting and rejuvenating you versus sedating you.
So I don't get all that cortisol stuff. I guess I don't know much about health. So
cortisol is a stress-fighting hormone. If you have too much of it, you can't sleep.
But it sounds like a good thing. But then
in the morning it's good. In the middle of the day it's good. In the afternoon it's good. But at night it's supposed to sedate. It's supposed to decline in your body. But when people can't sleep, it doesn't ever go down. It's been stimulated.
So what do you do about it? I guess you just answered that.
Well, you want to give the nervous system more, rejuvenate the nervous system, pay off some of the debt, so it has the energy to sedate itself.
And you do that through herbs or?
Herbs, lifestyle, there's all kinds of ways you can do it. One way, there was a study that came out not so long ago, like the peptides in milk. If you remember Grandma's recipe, you take a hot glass of milk before you go to bed, turns out there's peptides in the milk that actually sedate the nervous system, actually calm the cortisol levels down and allow you to go to sleep. So there's good science behind that ancient remedy.
So drink some hot milk or turmeric or something?
Yeah, right? That's exactly right. So what you would do is you would take the hot milk Ayurvedically and you would put in a little bit of certain herbs that are really good to rejuvenate. And those are a special kind of herbs like a little coconut flake, a little bit of ghee, a little bit of honey, little bits. Chop some almonds up, some dates, chop up some dates, and stir that in some hot milk. And if you don't do dairy, you can do coconut milk or almond milk and stir that in, warm it up, and drink that before you go to bed.
And coconut and almond milk also have peptides or no?
They have certain proteins, yeah. Yeah.
So it works.
I don't know if they work exactly the same as the milk proteins, but they definitely have Ayurvedic properties that have been used for thousands of years to have the same effect.
They'd be better for people like Rachel, we were discussing, produce tons of mucus because they're, what dosha was she? The depressed fat one.
Yeah, the kapha.
Kapha, yeah. I know that's not how you would describe that dosha completely.
No, there's really good qualities of that dosha too. You have to be careful not to knock a dosha because
don't knock a dosha.
No, don't
knock. Not knocking doshas with Dr. Douillard.
They're all good.
They're all good. Speaking of herbs, so what else? So the main thing, I come from the Buddhist tradition, so I always meditate right before I go to bed. And when I don't, once in a while, ironically, I'll be working late and I'll fall asleep without having meditated. I'll fall asleep on my laptop,
Yeah.
And then I actually will wake up and have insomnia sometimes. So meditation for me is the most helpful thing to calm that stress. Does that fit in with the Ayurveda?
any way that you can calm your nervous system. It could be as simple as taking a hot bath. You know, in Ayurveda, they do a technique called abhyanga, where we put oil on the skin. And when you put oil on your skin, think about your skin. Everywhere you touch your skin, you feel it, right? Which means your nervous system is exposed everywhere. So it's constantly exposed, therefore stimulated. But if you put oil on your skin, it dampens that whole sensory experience. So putting oil on your body, or at least on the bottoms of your feet, will actually, because there's so many nerve endings there, classic remedies for sleep.
Sounds way more fun than meditation.
Or
like
meditation, or do both.
And stuff
like
and
in
oil.
Ayurveda, they would do both. Like you have a cup of hot milk, put some oil on, take a hot bath, put some oil on, go to bed. And if you really have a problem, you kind of stack up all these little techniques, and you ramp up a calming effect that tells the cortisol to calm down, which means no emergency. I can calm my system down, so I feel safe to go to sleep.
So what are some bad things to do before bed that a lot of people do?
Yeah, like, if you have trouble sleeping, staying up late on the computer changing the world, not a great idea.
Were you looking at me when you said that?
Watching late night movies, getting stimulated by TV isn't a great thing. A lot of times the TV sort of seduces us into this state of sleep, and we fall asleep in front of the TV. But people who have sleep problems, it doesn't do it. It just stay wired.
I know Meg, our executive producer, likes to watch a lot of porn before she goes to bed. Is that a problem?
Probably.
Yeah, okay, because it kind of amps you up.
Yeah.
But then it also relaxes you
overstimulates you
once you
right.
go through the process.
Well, yeah, I would imagine some people use that as a technique, in fact, but there are probably better ways.
So the serious question is, like, making a lot of people have sex before bed. Is that a problem?
No.
No.
No, not at all. No.
Because it does ramp you up, but then
in fact, just like you said, it provides a level of satiety or sedation. It's not satiety. Well, both actually. It does satisfy.
I don't know what either satiety is.
It means you're satisfied. You know what I mean? So it does provide a level of satisfaction, and it also is a way to sedate and calm the nervous system for sure.
So you could be like, honey, we got to make love because Dr. John Douillard said it's the Ayurvedic way to get to sleep.
No, I would say that they heard you say.
Okay. Anything else about insomnia, sleep? I know it's a huge problem for a lot of Americans.
It is a huge problem. I think that when you are overstimulated and don't have the energy to calm yourself down, that's just the beginning of the tip of the iceberg. Right. You're exhausted. Your adrenals are straining to make energy through the day, straining to make energy to sedate yourself at night, straining to give you the vitality that you need.
Adrenals are just what cause
adrenals adrenaline. Are that little gland that drives hormones. And if they run out of gas, they go borrow money from the reproductive hormones. They make you want more sugar. They go to your thyroid, they upregulate your metabolism. So they start going and borrowing money, and they start slowly degenerate your whole...
And that's burnout.
That's big-time burnout. So when you begin to see yourself getting burned out, getting exhausted, not sleeping well, it's a time to reset.
Yeah, I went through some burnout recently. I don't have anything to say about it, but it happened.
And we talked about, on one of the earlier videos, we talked about how to live your life in harmony with the natural cycles, going downstream with the current, so you finish your day with the same energy as you started. Right. You don't feel every day exhausted. I think that's the big thing. If you come home from work exhausted and you're stressed out, and you need to just have a beer or a glass of wine just to disconnect or de-stress, or you're craving dark chocolate or coffee all day long. These are the red flags that I'm stimulating myself to get through the day. Eventually, you're going to run out of gas, and that may manifest as insomnia or depression or anxiety or heartburn, but it's going to show up.
So would you recommend instead you come home burned out after a hard day, exercise or a oil bath?
Well, yeah, I mean, those are what I call stress reduction techniques. You're helping to reduce the stress after you incurred it. Right. I would prefer to not incur it in the first place, like water off a duck's back. The birds don't fly south and go, oh man, what a day that was like. Oh, I need a beer. You're right.
We don't know, actually.
We don't exactly know. I shouldn't have probably taken that risk.
Yeah.
But the idea is that we are overstimulated. And we have to be aware of when we're overstimulated and how to live our life, from a calm place. I love the analogy of a hurricane. The bigger the calm, the more powerful the wind. You can do all that stuff. You can be in the wind. You can actually be a dynamic hurricane. But if you're dodging refrigerators in the wind, dealing with stress every day, you're going to break down or one day get head on with a refrigerator. If you can establish the calm, the eye of the hurricane, the bigger the calm, the more powerful your winds, the more productive you are. You never wear out.
I love that.
That's the bottom line.
Well, thank you. Dr. John Douillard on how to go to sleep. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.